Dear TAKUKURU TV viewer, welcome on this YouTube channel of the Tanzania Prevention and Combating of Corruption Bureau, PCCB, and in our episode of Farashani program. Farashani is a Swahili word referring to a discussion or conversation room. Today, we focus on an exclusive interview we held with one of the participants of the commemoration of the African Anti-Corruption Day for this year 2022. The commemoration was held on the 12th of July 2022 in Zanzibar, whereby the guest of honor was the President of Zanzibar and the Chairman of the Revolutionary Council, His Excellency Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi. Various guests including government officials, members of the African Union Advisory Board Against Corruption, representatives of foreign dignitaries, non-governmental organizations, religious leaders, artists and media were in attendance. Dear viewers, we hope this program will broaden your understanding on the importance of commemorating the African Anti-Corruption Day. Martha, karibu.
Asante sana.
By starting, we would like for you to tell us briefly on the motive behind the AU Convention on Preventing and Combating of Corruption.
Thank you so much. The African Union Convention on Preventing and Combating Corruption was adopted in 2003 by the African Union heads of state and governments in Maputo on the 11th of July. The idea was that there is need for African governments to commit to promoting good governance, protection of human rights, and development in general. And one of the means was to ensure that they deal with the vice of corruption. So the framework, that is the convention itself, was adopted to guide the African Union member states on what are the issues and the processes and the strategies that they can follow in fighting corruption. So the convention itself presents diverse areas which member states can follow in order to fight corruption on the continent.
Well, thank you. And why did the AU decide to have the African Anti-Corruption Day? So as I highlighted, the African Union Convention on Preventing and Combating Corruption was adopted on the 11th of July. So the 11th of July was declared as African Anti-Corruption Day to commemorate the adoption of the convention. This is the time when African Union member states are taking stock of what they will be doing or what they have been doing to fight corruption using this instrument, this legal instrument, which is called the convention. The member states decided to choose July 11th of each year as the commemoration of this day. And so what importance does this day hold in regard to the fight against corruption within the continent? So 11th July as the African Anti-Corruption Day gives a chance to member states to reflect on what they have been doing to fight corruption. The convention itself stipulates a number of issues and areas. For example, member states need to criminalize corruption, to ensure that their national laws have criminalized corruption, to ensure that issues of, for example, bank secrecy, protecting access to information, making sure that their national anti-corruption agencies, that as institutions that are charged with a mandate to fight corruption. So this day is important because it gives direction to the African Union member states, and specifically even the state parties that have ratified the convention. So this day is for us to reflect further. How are we doing? Are there challenges? How can we deal with these challenges? So every year on the 11th of July, the African member states, they adopt a theme on the year. And this normally looks at ensuring that it reflects on an area within the convention, dealing with issues of transparency, asset recovery, illicit financial flows, etc., etc. We understand that each year there is a theme going with the day. So what is the theme for this year? And why did the AU choose the theme for this day? The 2022 African Anti-Corruption Day is the 6th edition of this 11th of July. And the theme for this year was chosen as strategies and mechanisms for transparency of COVID funds. It was inspired by the current situation that the world is undergoing, specifically the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of resources were mobilized to fight the pandemic, as well as the effects of the pandemic. And through the media and other means, there were a lot of issues that came out
specifically mismanagement of resources, wastage, procurement contracts that were not in line with the transparency and accountability standards. Therefore, the board, together with the member states of the African Union, decided that this year we need to reflect what can the countries do, specifically when they're going through pandemics. Because there will be pandemics other than COVID-19, and resources will be mobilized, and they're mobilized to be spent, huge expenditure, procurement contracts that are done under emergency. So countries need to look at how they can spend or enhance accountability in the management of funds of pandemic. So this day will be reflecting on what are the strategies and mechanisms that can be put in place, even for the COVID funds that are being mobilized as a recovery after COVID.
Dear viewers, we kindly remind you to press the subscribe and bell icons, then choose all notifications so as to be notified on our uploaded programs on TAKUKURU TV. Press like and share to send various uploaded programs to others. Thank you and stay tuned on TAKUKURU TV.